Well, we thought he was forgotten, but Vincent Enyeama is back in the big time with his return to Lille's first team and his impending return to the Super Eagles as well. What will his presence mean for Nigeria at the World Cup in Russia and for the other goalkeepers in the team? We'll have answers for that in a moment. What a week it's been then on sport with enthralling action from the Carabao Cup. And have you ever witnessed a boy-dog battle? Well, you'll see one in the course of the program for today. Hello and welcome along on Sport Week. For this week, I'm Mayowa Ajayi on the show. Nigeria's most capped player, Vincent Enyeama, is on his way back to the national team. But what does that mean for the Super Eagles? We'll have answers for you in a moment on Top Story. Stage fights between ferocious dogs and white boars are generating quite a lot of interest in rural Indonesia. We'll tell you why on Side View.
Hernandez can hit it and hit it beautifully.
Light balls, but still no problems for Manchester City as the top guns progress to the quarterfinals of the Carabao Cup in England. We've got highlights of all of that for you on Top Action. Well, the program is Sports Week. Okay, after Vincent Enyeama's acrimonious departure from the Super Eagles fold in 2015 during the turbulent reign of Sunday Olise, many felt he was harshly treated. Perhaps they were right too. It's not every time a captain is stripped of his leadership status in his side, let alone in these circumstances. The most capped Super Eagles player called time on his international career as a consequence of his position being made untenable in the national side, and many could see why. 2 years on, however, Newman Gernot Rohr retains a desire to see the shot stopper return to his side just after he was recalled to Lille Metropole's first team by manager Marcelo Bielsa. But will Nigeria be on the right path with Enyeama's return? Let's find out on Top Story.
Well, that's untidily given away and well read by Tevez, who lays it in for Messi, who chose his sport.
That save and many more had Lionel Messi described Vincent Enyeama as phenomenal. The Nigerian goalkeeper produced his best performance to keep the Argentine forward at bay in South Africa 2010 World Cup. That announced Enyeama to the world, and he would go on to be one of the best save hands in Africa. After a row with former Super Eagles coach Sunday Olise, the veteran shot-stopper decided to quit the national team.
Enyeama has been, I think, is one of the best Nigerian goalkeepers after Peter Rufai that we've had. And I'm surprised that he retired early.
Fine save from Enyeama, straight away outside.
Much has changed since the most capped Nigerian goalkeeper left the Nigerian team. He was soon replaced by Carl Keme, who put up a good showing in matches like the 2017 AFCON qualifiers against Tanzania and the World Cup qualifier match away to Zambia. Carl Keme was diagnosed with leukemia, and then the mantle passed on to Daniel Akpeyi. He's a decent goalkeeper with experience, but was criticized in qualifying matches against Algeria and South Africa. Then finally, Ikechukwu Ezenwa, the Ifeanyuba FC man, took his chance and impressed in the remaining World Cup qualifying matches.
It's the battle. He does the eye jump, a shot run-up between me, and that was a fantastic save by Ezenwa.
Less than 2 years on, however, Eagles manager General retains a desire to see the shot-stopper return to the side.
I spoke with him. He's ready to come back, but he must be fit before. He knows that first of all now is a problem of health. The past is the past now. We have a look on the future.
Although loved by many Nigerians, the submission of Rohr to recall Enyeama in August was still greeted with mixed feelings. The goalkeeper himself ruled out a chance of returning to the national team. Worse still, he was literally without a club. Lille manager Marcelo Bielsa had declared Enyeama surplus to requirements following a long injury layoff. But on October 17, the estranged goalkeeper was recalled to the club's first team after making a full recovery. That has further fueled the desire of General to see him return ahead of the 2018 World Cup in Russia.
I believe that he's coming back might be a good thing for the Super Eagles, because he's got a vast experience.
The apparent lack of a leader in the defensive sector has threatened to undermine the steady progress that's been made under the German tactician in the last 8 months. The problems in the defensive third sometimes give off a whiff of incompetence. Also, for all the rare reviews directed at Karl Enyeama, Enyeama is arguably a better fit for the Super Eagles, as has been the case for over a decade.
Yoga mistake! Great save by Enyeama!
Current stand-in Daniel Ajayi doesn't inspire much confidence. Perhaps Ikechukwu Ezenwa, tested in the last 2 qualifiers, had a decent performance. But can he be relied upon when the games get tougher at the world stage?
4 clean sheets in Ghana, played so well against Cameroon here, 4-0, and went in Yaoundé and also made a very wonderful save, 9-minute save. You can't just throw him away and neglect what he has done.
Enyeama ticks all those boxes, but while his potential reintroduction to the fold can also bring back a bit of direction and leadership, will he still be the same at 35? But as it is said, goalkeepers get better with age. Enyeama is willing to return to the Super Eagles. Ra is a huge admirer, and the 2018 World Cup beckons. Perhaps he gets the chance for one more duel with Messi and Argentina.
And gets it back, and Messi in the penalty area. Oh, it was nearly wonderful.
All right, interesting scenario there for Vincent Enyeama. We've got Browson Nwana now joining us on the program. Hello, Browson. Thanks for joining us today on Sport Week. Talk about a cat with 9 lives. Vincent Enyeama is back in action with Lille in France. Why has the coach changed his mind?
No doubt, Enyeama's talent is second to none as far as Nigeria is concerned. We saw how the Super Eagles struggles in the goalkeeping position in few games. But in the last 2 games, most people want to say that the Nigerian-based goalkeeper tried his best. But World Cup is a bigger stage, so of course we need all our experience, to come to play. So I think the Montreal have not made any mistake to reconsider Enyeama, because, like I said, World Cup needs your very best hand, and Enyeama surely fall in that category.
All right, interesting, Browson. Now, it's not just Marcelo Bielsa who wants Vincent Enyeama. Coach Gernot Rohr also wants him.
No doubt, Enyeama's talent would, and of course his experience will add to the team. Don't forget, Montreal is making lots of issues about the fact that his team is full of youthfulness and experience. We saw what Mikel Obi-Oyeonaz did in that midfield, and of course we need presence like Enyeama in that team. I think it will have a way of motivating those players and of course give them the edge going to the World Cup.
All right, they say goalkeepers are like old wines, but after that long injury layoff, do you think Vincent Enyeama still remains his old assured self in goal?
With his experience, he needs a few more games to get back to his confidence level. We saw in previous games, in Nations Cup especially, we've seen how confident Enyeama could be. And don't forget that in 2010, I think, he won Best Shot Stopper in France. And those things doesn't come easy. So his experience will come to play. I think in 2013, I beg your pardon, he was Best Shot Stopper in France. It wasn't a fluke. So I think he will do well, not taking anything away from him.
Okay, now what exactly does his return mean for the Super Eagles?
Experience, what they said. Enyeama's return, for me, I'm already excited about it. Because sometimes when you play youthfulness, and for some big games you need experience to kill the game. And sometimes some players jitter when they see big players. For instance, how would you stand a Nigerian base or a goalkeeper that have not got so much experience? Confronting Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, Higuain, and the likes. But you need someone like Enyeama that have seen it all in global football. To man the post. So I think it's coming back will add so much experience and strength to the team.
And how about the implication of Vincent Enyeama's return to the Super Eagles for these other goalkeepers as well? It means one of the current goalkeepers with the Super Eagles will miss out of a place in Russia, isn't it?
Sadly, we've seen, for instance, Alan Pasu has not really been part of the team, even though he gets called up for competitions. But he has not really manned the post, so we really don't know his form right now. So I think most likely he might just be the casualty, not going to the World Cup. So definitely, if Enyeama will be replacing Alan Pasu, for instance, I mean, it's really no big deal.
Oh, well, we'll take a look at the leadership tussle in the Super Eagles now. John Obi Mikel is the captain, but does he then go and hand over the captaincy to Vincent Enyeama when he returns? Or perhaps the status quo will remain?
Really, I don't think Mikel Obi should be stripped of his captaincy. We've seen his leadership quality. Enyeama has a very good leadership quality, but you know, if you do that, you might just affect the unity of the team. We've seen how united this team is. For instance, you look at how they celebrate their goals and unity. We don't hear those cabal things we used to hear in camp. So I think Mikel, against all odds, have been able to keep this team together, united. So I think that unity should still be there. Maybe when Mikel is not playing, Enyeama can be handed the captaincy band, but I don't think Mikel should drop the captaincy.
All right, interesting. General lamented that he does not have world-class goalkeepers in his side just before that game against Zambia, but was quick to praise Ezenwa in goal. How will all this be playing out in the minds of these guys, especially with the expected return of the big boy?
Yeah, kudos has to go to Ezenwa. I mean, we saw what he did, especially in the first leg, and of course against Cameroon. It was a very big performance. You know, it's for me. I think it was a very good platform for him to announce to himself that look, good thing can also come out of Nigerian Professional Football League. He did very well, but then you know, at this point, I think it will bring lots of competition to the team. The coach has also said that Enyeama does not have a starting shirt. Enyeama will have to fight for his shirt. I think it's a very good one. No starting shirt for any goalkeeper. If Ezenwa comes out to be in training, shows that he's better than Enyeama. I mean, I think he should man the post. If Enyeama comes out better than Ezenwa or any of the other goalkeepers, I think it should be about merit, not really about if Enyeama is coming back to the team or not. The goalkeeper should be chosen of merit.
Okay, interesting. Okay, sincerely now, do you think Vincent, I mean, the Super Eagles are a better side with Vincent in goal?
Really, I think Super Eagles with Enyeama would be a more better side, because I think Enyeama's experience, like I rightly said earlier, would really come to play in the World Cup. World Cup is where you want the very best of the best. It's not where you experiment. We've done a lot of experiments in the qualifying series. The World Cup, the Nigerian Football Federation has given the coach a mandate to get to the semi-finals. So the coach has to do that with all his best arsenal. And I think with Enyeama in the team will be more formidable.
So how key is it going to be then for Nigeria in Russia?
His experience will come to play in Russia. And I also think Enyeama has also got that leadership quality. You know, for some place that the captain is missing, Mikel is falling short. Enyeama can also advise. Don't forget, if he's going to World Cup, he would be the oldest player in the team. So I think Enyeama might likely play the fatherly role with the whole team. So I think overall it will be a very big plus to the Super Eagles of Nigeria.
Awesome there. And now what a tantalizing prospect we've got on our hands then for Nigeria. Just imagine Vincent Enyeama and Carl Ikeme, who is currently out to leukemia, when he returns. Imagine both of them in the fold for the Super Eagles. How tantalizing is that for you?
I mean, that's a very tempting one. Of course, we saw what Carl Ikeme did just when Enyeama retired from the team. I think it's tempting. You know, maybe I might just want to be biased and say Carl Ikeme should be handed the #1 spot. But don't forget that he's been out for a very long time. Even if he's declared fit, it will take time for him to get back to fitness and get back to what he used to be. So it will be a little more difficult for him to really break the ranks and get back to first team football, even in his club side. So yeah, it will be a very good option for us to have a pool of goalkeepers to choose from. But I really don't think Carl Ikeme will be ready for the World Cup. World Cup is a big stage, so I don't think he may be ready for that.
All right, thank you very much indeed, Browson, for your thoughts on the program this week at Sports Week.
Thank you very much for having me, Mayowa.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure having you. Quite some interesting thoughts from Browson there on the impending return of Vincent Enyeama to the Super Eagles fold. Quite interesting. Though animal rights activists might protest about stage fight between ferocious dogs and deadly wild boars continue to draw delighted spectators in rural Indonesia. If a boar survives a battle once healed, it will then be returned to the arena to fight another day. If not, it will be butchered and sold for meat. And winning dogs can bring in a prize of up to £1,500 or more. Well, let's check out this interesting game on Side View.
As the whistle blew, a hunting dog charged into the center of a bamboo-made arena amid cheering spectators where it would furiously fight a wild boar in a controversial Indonesian hunting game. Wild boar fight, known locally as adu bagong, is usually held at remote villages in Indonesia's West Java province, where a dog and a wild boar pitted against each other in a 15 by 30 meters arena. Participants who groomed and fed their dogs outside the arena before the match said their continued participation in the sports is a way to preserve a cultural practice that has been carried out for decades.
This is indeed a violent show, but this is a tradition and hunting cannot be removed from our tradition because we think it is more effective to hunt with dogs.
The game, thought to have started around the 60s, first began when local farmers tried to protect their farms from being destroyed by wild boars. It was originally a test of the dog's ability to hunt wild boars, but the spectator sport has also evolved to include underground gambling during the fights. The contest is held every weekend in different villages and is judged upon the dog's agility and the duration of the dog biting the boar. Both animals were forced to fight until one of them is injured. Once the dust has settled, injured wild boars, considered unclean for Muslims to eat, are slaughtered and sold to non-Muslim consumers. But if the wild boars were not critically injured, they will be treated and used for the next game. The defeated dogs will also be treated for its wounds. Hunting is an inseparable culture of the community, said Noah D., the leader of a hunting dogs enthusiast group, and it should not be abolished despite criticism from animal rights activists. Activists have been calling for years to halt the game, which has been described as a crime.
The government and NGOs should go on the ground and stop this event and educate the people that dog fighting is not right, especially when gambling is involved, where they bet whether their dog or the wild boar will win. The game is a criminal act against the animal.
Dog breeder Agus Badud argued that the activity boosted the economic value of their dogs.
Basically, I followed this contest to increase the selling price and economic value of my dogs, and it will be useless for me as a breeder if I do not participate in a contest like this. Surely, people like me need this to sell my dogs.
I think this is not a fighting contest. It is more about agility. Moreover, a wild boar is a pest, so we are helping the farmers to get rid of the pest.
To enter the fight, dog owners pay at least 200,000 to 2 million Indonesian rupiah. That's between $14 to $150, and the dogs are classed into 3 categories depending on its breed, weight, and previous track record. Winners will get a trophy and cash prize of around $2,000.
All right, Pep Guardiola led into the match ball after watching his Manchester City side beat Wolves on penalties in the Carabao Cup. I said it would have been a miracle for Sergio Aguero to have broken his scoring record with it. Come on, Pep, are you kidding me? Every other person used same ball. Okay, Arsenal fans have a new hero in Eddie Nketiah, but who is the 18-year-old youngster? The Gunners were heading for defeat at home to Championship side Norwich City before his intervention with 2 goals. And Nigeria's Kelechi Iheanacho got his first Leicester City goal as he helped the Foxes beat Leeds United. We have all of that action for you on Top Action.
Here's Ruth. Certainly would have thought about a shot from that position. Hernandez can hit it and hit it beautifully. Pablo Hernandez. Anderson and Vidal deal with it. Only for now though, Iheanacho. Oh, he got an answer. Placed to perfection by Kelechi Iheanacho, who gets his first goal for Leicester. Is operating fairly centrally. Good ball by Iborna. Here's Iheanacho. Slimani waits and makes no mistake this time.
Blind. McTominay. Herrera, lovely flick by Rashford. Lingard could be in here. He is. 1-0 to Manchester United. They sliced their way through Swansea in wonderful style. The flick was a delight, and the finish wasn't bad either. Jesse Lingard at it again in the League Cup. Still able to get it through to Damian. Oh, what a beautiful header that is! A sweeping goal from Manchester United, and Jesse Lingard doubles Manchester United's lead.
Will take over. Can he release Murphy? He can, and Murphy is through here on Macy, and Murphy scores! Corner driven in near post, and it's in! Oh, what an introduction! Here's the corner. Gunn stays at home, and it's in! And it's that man again! Nketiah! And the...
Lovely little flick from Llorente. Son's on his way. Sissoko's through the middle. Son has found Musa Sissoko, and Tottenham lead in 5 minutes. Dele Alli. Son Heung-min. Dele Alli! Delightful. Lanzini headed away to Fernandez and snatched in by Ayew. Lanzini juggling forward again by Ogbonna. It's come down here for Lanzini. Ayew 2-2. West Ham. Lanzini playing it in. Ogbonna. Extraordinary. Truly extraordinary.
He will get this game started. Both sides looking for a place in the last 8 of the competition, but we'll have to... No shots on target for either side yet. As Willian takes this corner. Musonda. Nice ball to far post. Rudiger's header! A first Chelsea goal for Antonio Rudiger. And the Blues are up and running. Wonderful looping header there by the German defender. Lovely give and go. Willian! Oh! That is some way to send your team through. The last 8 of the Carabao Cup. It's better than that. Stunning. Well, losing this game 2-0, although they could be in here for a goal back. They've got a chance, a real good chance, and there is that goal back.
All right, then Cristiano Ronaldo, not Lionel Messi, is the best player in the world again. Goodness me, these guys are from another planet. And Ronald Koeman became the latest manager to be shown the exit door by Everton. We reported these stories and others during the week. It's time to do a recap of them all now on Flashback.
Cristiano Ronaldo retained his FIFA Men's Player of the Year crown on Monday night, beating Lionel Messi and Neymar to earn the accolade of the world's best footballer. Ronaldo has scored 44 goals for club and country so far in 2017 and scored twice in the Champions League final in June as Real retained the trophy. Nick Martins won the Best Women's Player award. Gianluigi Buffon was named as the Goalkeeper of the Year. The legendary Italian stopper picked up the prize ahead of Real Madrid's Keylor Navas and Bayern Munich's Manuel Neuer. Real Madrid boss Zinedine Zidane was named as the top men's coach in world football. The Frenchman beat fellow finalists Antonio Conte of Chelsea and Juventus' Massimiliano Allegri. Arsenal striker Olivier Giroud won the Puskas Award for his outstanding scorpion kick against Crystal Palace in the Premier League on New Year's Day. Ronald Koeman said he was disappointed after being sacked by Everton following their third worst start to a Premier League campaign. The Dutchman was axed at Goodison Park following the weekend's 5-2 loss at home to Arsenal, which saw them slip into the relegation zone. Koeman guided the club to a 7th place finish last season and left after 16 months in charge. Leicester City on Wednesday appointed Claude Puel as their new manager, replacing Sir Greg Shakespeare. The former Southampton boss takes over the Foxes on a 2.5-year deal. The 56-year-old takes over from caretaker coach Michael Appleton, who will continue in his role as assistant manager. The draw for the quarter-finals of the Carabao Cup was made on Thursday, with Championship side Bristol City hosting Manchester United. Arsenal are drawn against West Ham, Leicester City are at home to Manchester City, and Chelsea host Bournemouth. The ties will be played the week commencing December 18th. Five-time Grand Slam champion Martina Hingis confirmed she will retire from tennis after the WTA finals. The 37-year-old Swiss originally retired as a 22-year-old in 2003 and then again in 2007 after a brief comeback. Returning in 2013, she won this year's Wimbledon and US Open mixed doubles titles with Britain's Jamie Murray.
Okay, then we are gradually winding down on the show for the week. But before we say goodbye, let's give you a hint of what's coming up in sport. Next week, the UEFA Champions League returns with a bang on Tuesday with the top sides aiming to confirm their spot in the knockout phase. Manchester United could progress to the next phase with a win against Benfica at Old Trafford. Bayern Munich travel to face a Celtic. Paris Saint-Germain host Anderlecht at the Parc des Princes. Atletico Madrid will hope to revive their qualification hopes against FK Karabakh as Chelsea are away at Roma. Olympiacos welcome Barcelona while Sporting hosts Juventus. Wednesday's games will see Liverpool entertain NK Maribor. Sevilla tackles Spartak Moscow. Is a blockbuster tie as Napoli welcome Manchester City to Naples, and Monaco will be the guest of Besiktas. Borussia Dortmund will face Apoel Nicosia at home, while Tottenham Hotspur will get themselves up for the second test against Real Madrid at Wembley. All right, that's the show for the week. The program will return again next week. God willing with me, Mayowa Ajayi. Have a fabulous weekend ahead, and bye for now.